Does Scream 4 correct the mistakes that were made in the end of that trilogy? Or are we set up for a snore fest? Time to find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nightmare Collective. I'm Chris, thanks for stopping by and watching my review for Scream 4. Okay, so it has been a decade since we have seen the Scream trilogy kind of cap itself off in a very mixed bag, I would say, of a movie. I think the Sidney arc is well done, but I think the ending and the killer and all of that is kind of lame. Check out my Scream 3 review for kind of my further thoughts on the movie, but let's get into Scream 4. So it has been a decade since a Scream film, and Wes Craven is back with a new meta-horror comedy. I was gonna say commentary, but I was going to say comedy, so I said comedy. But we're gonna say commentary on the genre again. So let's get my negatives right out of the way of this film before we kind of get into the things that I like about it. I do not like the way that it is shot. It looks very weird. It is like overblown, and it has got this like orange bright tint to it. Everybody's shining. Looks like they've got God rays, you know, shining on them. I do not like the way it's shot. I know it is a very like mid-2000s things, but it feels weird in comparison to the other films, especially with Scream 5 being more modern and definitely looking more like the other Scream films does. It definitely stands out of the pack of movies as just being like overly bright. So, like I said, that's kind of my one big negative. I really just don't like the way that this film looks. But, I mean, that's a quibble. Maybe you like the way it looks in comparison. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But for me, it just doesn't work. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this release. So, we are introduced to a new cast of characters here. And overall, I like the new characters here. But they're set up to die because we bring back the legacy characters, but I think they were afraid to kill some of them. And so, you know, the new ones are just basically meat sandwiches for the killer to slice into. So let's get into this. So like I said, I like Emma Roberts in this role. I think she's great. I think Hannah Panettiere is great as Kirby. I'm excited to see how she comes back into the fold in Scream 6. We do not see her die in this film, so it is left open that she could come back. However, I do wonder kind of how she got out of that situation and ends up in New York as a cop. You know, maybe those events led to her wanting to become a cop and chase down Ghostface when he comes. I am curious to see how that plays out in Scream 6. So overall, this is a great return to form for me personally. I really like Scream 4. I know some people are kind of like mixed on it, but coming off the heels of Scream 3, this is a more traditional Scream movie. We have Sidney Prescott back, we've got Gale back, we've got Dewey back, we've got everybody back. You know, Dewey is the sheriff here, and there's some tension between, you know, Dewey's partner and Gale, which I think is funny. Gale's hair is back. We've got it back to form. She doesn't look like she went through a hedge clipper. But, you know, like I said, I really like the arc of this movie. You know, because we are in the mid-2000s, they are connecting it to the internet, and they are trying to basically film all of this and make their own snuff film. And so I like that aspect. It is a very meta thing that was happening at the time, and so it fits well into the world of Scream. So overall, like I said, all the characters I think are pretty good. There's nobody that stands out as like really annoying in this movie, and I think Emma Roberts has a great turn. That is not a character she typically played at the time, and so I really like that from her. When she makes that snap to killer, I mean, Jesus, the last act of this movie is very brutal. Like, Macaulay Culkin's brother. Oh, God, why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, he is great in this, you know, as basically somebody who is, like, obsessed with this girl, and she basically doesn't notice him until the very end. So she's like, he's trying to make this movie, and then he, you know, he has a great line where before they are talking about, like, making a move, and he's like, how's this for making a move? And fucking stabs her in the chest. So, I mean, like, that's awesome. I like the end act of this movie, especially coming off of Scream 3, which has probably the weakest of all of the movies as far as third act. It's just, I mean, yes, it's very like narrative heavy, but it's just a bit weird. There's only one killer. There's a lot of problems with that third act. So this one definitely ratchets that up. And I mean, she beats the shit out of herself at the end of this movie to kind of prove a point. And it's kind of funny because it's all for naught because she really doesn't get away with anything. So I like this. Again, Sidney Prescott is a badass. She is why I see these movies. even though I hear Scream 6 is great, I am still worried that her not being in it, you can feel the loss, you know? But I feel like they ended her, but then they started her back up again, and I don't know. I don't feel resolved in my Sidney Prescott, you know, arc yet. So I'm hoping that she can come back for 7, and we kind of wrap things up with her and Gale, and kind of end on a whole note with this whole story. So we'll see where 6 leaves us, and then we'll talk about the future. You know, we'll probably do a video on what I think will happen next. So otherwise, I really like this movie. I like the story that it's telling. I like all the characters in this film. And it's weird when people don't like this movie. I mean, it is definitely gory. So one thing about Scream 3 is that, you know, it was very censored due to the Columbine incident that had been going on at the time. And so they definitely hampered that gore down because of what was going on. And so this is definitely a return to form, and it's very gory. I mean, so is 5. But damn, man, like, they throw people off a building into a car. Shit's awesome. So as far as, like, for me, what I want in a Scream film, all the kills are great, and they're back, and they're ratcheted up, especially from 3, which was kind of lame in that aspect. I don't know. I really like this movie. I watched it last night, and I really had a good time watching this. And I like it more than 5. I mean, I think 5 kind of sets us, kind of course corrects a little bit. I would prefer to watch 4 than 5 because I just like the characters more. I think a lot of the characters in 5 are just kind of boring, you know? Kirby's character is like 3 different characters. I was watching an old Jeremy Jahns review of Scream 4, and he kind of said it best. You know, you've got like these 3 characters rolled up into one in Kirby, and I think that's why she's the most interesting person, and I think that's why she's the most interesting person to bring back, because she was interesting in that movie. She was very layered and very distinct and interesting, and so bringing her back and kind of taking her perspective, which is very unique to the franchise, and bringing her back is interesting because these movies do feel like they're separate. The 4th one at least feels like it's kind of separated from the rest of the movies. So that's pretty much all I've got. Like I said, I really enjoyed this film a lot. I think it was a return to form, and it's the last film we got as far as Scream goes from Wes Craven. So, I mean, he has a very distinct style that I really like, and so that is missing in Scream 5, even though I do like the direction. It feels like it could have been directed by Wes Craven. There's just like a heart there that is missing that I think is lacking. But let me know down below, what do you think about Scream 4? You know, who's your favorite character in Scream 4? Did you like the killers? Did you like the ending? What are all your thoughts about this film? All right, that's all I've got. Look forward to my Scream 5 review coming tomorrow, and then we've got 6 at the end of the week, so I am excited to get into that, kind of wrap this franchise up for the time being until 7 comes out. All right, so I'm going to link some videos for you now. So I'm going to link my Scream 3 review if you didn't check that out, and then I'm going to link my last horror haul if you're into physical media. So definitely check those out. Continue on the channel. Subscribe for more if you guys want to become part of the collective. Like the video, share, do all of those things. We've got a lot coming up. I got an update, channel update, and there's a lot of stuff happening in that. So look forward to that in the next few days. All right, that's all I've got. I'll talk to you guys later.